Welcome back to another episode of Motivate with Coach Camp. I, of course, am your host, Coach Camp, and I bet you know what? We are here in these awesome studios of SRP with Mr. Derek Michaud. All right, let me give you a little heads up on what today's episode's all about. I think that whenever I heard about this story, my immediate thought was, wow, that could happen to absolutely anyone at any time. It's not something that is, I would say, common, but at the same time, there is an aspect of it that absolutely is common, and that is human emotion, human reaction. We do it all the time. It's a knee-jerk moment. Things will come up in front of you, in your face, and then boom, you do something. Sometimes you regret it later, and you look back and you're like, I can't change that moment, but maybe I can change part of me. Maybe I can fix that aspect of me so that I don't react the same way the next time. And it has to be a conscious decision. And sometimes, unfortunately, we go down a road that it is detrimental in a way that it changes your life and others' lives at the same time. And that's what our story is going to be about today. My guest is a very special friend of mine. I've actually known him since he was a little kid. I was a big part of his baseball years growing up, working with his dad. We're going to talk about all that, give you some backstory. But before we go into the story, that's why I just want you guys to hang on, listen to what this is all about, and then apply it to yourself, because I know you're going to get something from it. I've got to do that thing where I take a quick break and just send a shout out to my sponsors, because this is all possible because of those sponsorships. I'm going to ask you to go and subscribe to my YouTube at Motivate with Coach Camp. So be right back. Hello, everybody. I just wanted to have a quick second to let you guys know how much it means to me that you are my sponsor. SRP Studios, The Real Hernando, The Rhythm Section, Hardwick Heating, Cooling, and Air Quality, Estes Grading, Hodge Homes, Adair Honey Farm, Miss Hippie Eats, Phones R Us, Ross Sod Farms and Landscaping, Ivy Rain, Women's Clinic, Tonic POS by Tyler Young, and Coffee Central. Thank you guys so much for being a sponsor. If you'd like to be a sponsor, go to my website now, motivatewithcoachcamp.com, and click on the button. Thank you. Welcome back, guys. All right, this is it. This is our moment here. We're going to jump into our conversation. My guest is Mr. Cameron Land. He is a firefighter, paramedic with the city of Memphis, right?
Correct.
Memphis Fire Department. How you doing, Cameron?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Great to see you. Look, it's been a while.
I know. It has been a while.
You've grown up some.
Just a little bit. Not too much growing. Still short, but
grown into the age part, right?
That's right.
And look, you still look great and healthy.
Thank you.
How old are you now?
28.
28. Look, when I was 28, I guess I still was pretty good. Man, all of a sudden you get to 35. Whew, metabolism in reverse, in reverse. So here's the deal. We're going to talk about where you came from, what your life was like growing up, some of the connections we obviously have, and then we're going to get into the actual story of, what kind of changed your life forever. And I think that's a fair comment to say. So growing up, Cameron, I know this much about you. So young guy, very athletic, played baseball, had the pleasure, joy, and honor of getting to be your coach a few years.
Yes, sir.
And had some big years there, had some great teams.
Oh, yeah.
Some really good teams, did a lot of winning.
That's right.
And the connection goes much deeper than that, because before then, I actually worked with your dad on the Memphis Fire Department. We were on a special operations rescue team, made lots of harrowing calls together over the years. So I've really kind of known you and your family most of your life, actually. Growing up, did you think at that time, whenever you see me and your dad on the fire department, did you think at your time you were going to go that direction?
No, I would say when I was really young, yes, that's all I wanted to do. And I think the older I got, you get into that age, you're like, man, I don't want to be anything like my dad. Oh, yeah. And then once I got a little bit older, I was like, I want to be just like him. And, getting to hear all the stories of things he did at work, growing up, it really interested me and stuff. So, yeah, once I got older, I was like, I know what I want to do.
So if that wasn't going to be the thing Cameron did, what else would you have done?
I have no idea, to be honest.
I'll be honest with you. I thought you were going to play professional ball.
Yeah, when I was younger, every kid's dreams to
play pro ball.
Go play pro ball, but reality sets in when you get a little bit older, and you're like,
fair enough.
I might not be able to make it, so I got to start looking at other routes.
Yeah, you definitely need a plan B in life when you're looking at the big picture. And, very few people ever make it to the pros. Not to say it's impossible, and anybody that works hard and has a few lucky breaks can happen for them.
That's right.
But clearly, you got to have your options open. And so going into fire and EMS, it probably was an easy transition in the sense that if you had that true interest, you had a great mentor being your dad, giving you advice and tips on what to do and how to do it. Didn't you come to Southwest for basic?
I did. Yes, I was there for basic EMT.
And then you went to the Memphis Fire Academy for advanced in paramedic.
And then I went to Arkansas State University.
Oh, you got a very diverse background in your education.
Yes, very.
I did not realize that. I didn't know that. So how long has it been since you've gotten your medic license?
Man,
it's pretty recent, right?
2 months.
2 months. Yeah, I remember seeing a post about it, and I think I commented on it. And that's no small feat. For anyone that doesn't know, it's hard to explain to a person just how difficult any kind of medical school is. But whenever you go to paramedic school and you're working a job, you're going to work, you're trying to fit in clinicals, you're trying to do school, and it is almost 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, you feel like at times. And so it's a very difficult task. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. That's tough. But then we tell our students every year that go into paramedic school, this is not the time to get married. This is not the time to buy a new house, have a kid. And guess what happens every semester? We have students doing all those things.
Oh, yeah.
And those are things that you should be able to control. But then sometimes things happen in life you can't control, and that will set the course of another level of difficulty and obstacles, which does play into our story today. So when you make the decision to go into fire and EMS, which, by the way, you were advanced when you came to work with me that time at the air show, weren't you?
I was, yes.
Yeah. So
I think I just got my advanced EMT, actually.
Yeah. So another little fun fact too, a little tie-in, if you will. I was the medical IC at the air show in Millington a few years back, and I brought your dad and you in to be my hospital tent, and you just so happened to be there. Weren't you there on the day of the big catastrophe where we had the mass casualty?
I think that was the day before.
The day before, okay. So you came the next day after that. Man, be glad you missed. Your dad, man, I think he's still mad at me. Tell him I'm sorry again. If you see him again, tell him I'm sorry. There's no way to know we're going to have over 100 patients in 4 hours, but it just fell apart.
I think the day I was there was still, it was pretty busy. It was hot out there. So
that was the thing. It was hot, and it just, people out on hot pavement, it's just going to take a toll on them. And man, it hit all at once. And your dad and I, we went straight back to our sort days of mass casualty. Of course, I was in an air-conditioned tent or an air-conditioned trailer directing traffic.
Oh, yeah.
He was in the tent, and I was just, hey, man, you doing all right? I'll get you a water. Let me know. So, Cameron, obviously, you grow up, you turn into this great young man. You're doing the firefighter stuff. Now, for people out there that don't know the fireman's life, I will give you a little bit of a backstory. It is a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. It's all that. Don't want to sound like I'm isolating, but you become a family on a fire department, and you do a lot together. And if you really like the guys and girls you work with, you not only work together 24 hours at a time, you do stuff on your off days. You go camping together. Trust me, tons of fireman trips. You have a great time. You share your lives together, your families. They all become one, if you will. You know everything about everybody because you're sitting around the table. You got time to talk about stuff.
Make friends with people you would never think that you'd become friends with if you weren't on the fire department.
That's a good point. Yeah. Just diverse backgrounds.
Yeah, different types of people that, if you weren't on the fire department, you might never think about.
You wouldn't have been interested in hanging in that circle.
But, you have this connection at the station that's like no other,
So you clearly, you become a family.
Absolutely.
And you developed into that. What year did you start working at Memphis Fire?
2020.
Okay, so, man, wow. So I didn't realize it's been over 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 5, almost, has it been 5 years? What's your anniversary?
September will be 5 years.
Wow. Yeah. Man, it goes by so fast.
So fast.
Bro, you're almost a veteran.
Dude, I know, right?
That's crazy. That is crazy. So 5 years on a big city fire department, I've always said you age in dog years. Like any 1 year on a big city, you're aging like 7 years like you would if you were in a suburban, some other small town type EMS system where you run 5 calls in 24 hours. You guys might run 5-6 calls before lunch.
Oh, yeah.
That's just normal.
I mean, I'm on Unit 12, so it's one of the busiest units in the city. And,
Mississippi Boulevard.
Man.
Yeah, I've been there many times, and I have some shake moments. Oh, yeah. I'm like, I can't believe I made it through that shift.
Yeah, I love it,
it is fun.
It's fun staying busy and getting to see all the good calls and stuff, or, what we call good, not good to other people, but things that you get to show your skill off and do the things that you train so long for. So
that's a good point, Cameron. Actually, that's something that is, I think it's relevant for folks that are not in the business to understand that you do all this training and work, and you do need to be tested. You want to be tested. You don't look forward to someone else having a bad moment in their life or losing all their stuff through a fire. But when it happens and it's not your fault, you want to be the one that's called.
Absolutely. Because
that's where you get tested. That's when all your skills get to be on display, and you get to show, hey, look, I've been working hard for this. now I get to show out a little bit. And that's
Absolutely.
good. That is the enthusiasm. Trust me, you want a person in first responder world that's looking forward to making the call versus someone scared to death of the call.
Absolutely.
You don't want that person to be like, oh my God, the tones are going.
I don't want
this. That's not going to work out for you. So when you get into the fire department, you start making some friends. Tell me a little bit about some of your friends on the department.
Man, so I can start with I have a really good buddy. We call him Moose. His name's Alex Duncan, but he's a big old guy. He says his grandfather gave him that nickname when he was born. But he's one of my best friends, that I met through the fire department, and he'll be in my wedding one day, like one of those guys. But yeah, he's awesome. Great firefighter. I mean, he came on, I think, the class after me, but I think he was a lateral, so he had a little bit of background, but he's one of the guys that I look up to, and, I want to be like him because he's that good.
Yeah. How long has he been on? Same time?
Yeah, I think he was 2021, maybe, somewhere around there. Yeah. So he actually just got promoted to driver, so shout out to Moose.
There you go, Moose. I don't guess I knew Moose. I've been gone for 9 years.
Yeah.
So he's probably not.
Yeah, he's 4.5 years, somewhere around there.
Man, I swear, now it's like every time I run into a group, I'm like, I don't know any of these faces.
Yeah.
Wow, what happened? It starts to dissipate quickly.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So Moose is one of your tight guys on the crew. Was Taylor on the department? Taylor? Your roommate. The one that the story's going to go toward in a minute.
Okay, so no, Taylor was not on the department.
He was not on the department. So that's part of it I didn't know.
I was thinking fire department.
That's okay, yeah. So I was trying to make sure. I didn't know if there was a tie in there or not. So that you have Moose, you have a couple other friends probably at your fire station. Right. So I was curious about that because, a lot of times people will become roommates with the guys that they work with if they're also single or whatever.
Me and Moose, and I had another buddy named Ryan Hintz. We all roomed together for a little bit. Yeah. And we all became really good friends. But
that's common when you're single.
Oh, yeah.
Young guy, everybody kind of like group up, get into a house. I don't know what Shelby County in Memphis requires now.
It's
you don't have to live in the city anymore.
But at the time when we were living together, you did. I think right when we signed our lease, we got a house in Midtown. They changed the rule to where, you can live, I think, 2 hours outside the city or something like that.
Okay. And
I told them, I was like, hey, I'm going to move back to Hernando whenever this lease is up, but while we're here, let's enjoy it. So,
yeah. And that's interesting though that it came in just behind that because forever, you had to live within city limits if you're on the fire department. And then they moved it to the county. And then there was a little moment where they like, well, if you were hired before this date, and of course me and your dad immediately was like, peace, we're going to Mississippi. and then now that it went back to it, but now it sounds like that it's all good and you can live within 2 hours. So then somewhere down the road, you come back down to here into Mississippi and tell me about how you met Taylor, because that's where a big part of the story is going to develop to, and what your friendship was, and then how you guys became roommates.
So me and Taylor had the same little friend group. We never really ran into each other too much until I had moved back from the house in Midtown to Hernando, and I moved in with my good buddy Chase Dabbs. He's not on the fire department, but
Coach Chase Dabbs as well in baseball.
Oh yeah, so you know Chase.
Yeah, he spiked the baseball one time on the pitcher's mound when he got mad. I'm like, bro, you can't do that.
He's the same way. He
can't do that now.
He still acts like that watching the Arkansas Razorbacks. But so when I moved in, Taylor was also living there at the time, and like I said, I knew him, through friends, but that's when me and him, got close and stuff. So I think we lived together for, I don't know, probably a little over a year, possibly somewhere around there. And but yeah, that's how I met Taylor.
Did Taylor go to Hernando as well?
Yes, I believe. Yeah.
So all you guys went to the same school at the same time, or
he was older than me. He graduated.
Was older. Okay.
So, yeah.
So you guys become acquainted through a happenstance. It sounds like you moved down here back to Mississippi, lived together for over a year, develop a friendship. Then at some point, you guys move out of the house.
Yeah. So he ended up moving in with another buddy. I think somewhere in Hernando or Nesbitt, that area, and but we all still hung out and stuff. So we didn't distant from each other.
Yeah, sometimes you do lose contact with the person once you are no longer in the same stream, but it sounds like you guys continued the friendship even beyond that moment. And so that's a big part of the story, because the reality is this, and I think that as you tell a little bit more about what developed and what happened, is we can all out there, I say we, I'm thinking every human can relate to the fact that you build relationships with individuals, and the common thread that brings you together never has to change. Doesn't mean you're always going to agree on everything and get along all the time. You're going to have fallouts, but in the end, the care and the love for the person is developed over a period of time. So you know that individual.
Yep.
It's not like you didn't know this individual, right? So y'all were friends for a while. And he wasn't on the fire department, which for some reason, I don't know why I didn't ask that of you, but I was thinking he was, but he wasn't. Nope. So then let's move toward the direction of the evening that you guys go out. Talk to me, bring us up to the point of what you guys do. Like, you're young guys. I don't think that this is a surprise. Firefighters that go out, just like police officers, just like military, and you have a good time on the town. You go downtown Memphis, since that's what we're close to, maybe go to some clubs, go to a few bars, hang out. Tell me a little bit about the evening developing into that.
So, well, the night before we had all met up, it was St. Patrick's Day weekend, and the night before we all met at Chase's house, and we were just discussing, the next day, St. Patrick's, the parade, they have downtown.
Sure, yeah.
So we're all just getting together, talking about that, trying to figure out arrangements for riding down there and stuff. And Taylor had said, I'll drive y'all. So we're all like, cool, we got a driver, so we'll be safe. So we all hung out at the house that night. And then the next day, all met up at Chase's house and went from there.
Was this on St. Patrick's Day?
So this is St. Patrick's Day, yes.
It was actually St. Patrick's Day, yeah.
So, Taylor drove us down there. Chase's mom has a little apartment on Tennessee Street, so we parked there in the parking garage, walked downtown. I think we went to Silky O'Sullivan's first, and we're all just sitting there hanging out.
About what time of day do you think this is?
Oh, probably around noonish, about 12:30ish, somewhere around there. But yeah, so we all just met up with another group of friends that were down there, got a table, we're all hanging out, having a couple drinks and stuff, just catching up. And I noticed that Taylor, he said he wasn't going to drink, but he had disappeared a little bit. But I was concentrating on talking to this little friend group that I had at the table. So I wasn't really paying much attention to that. But I noticed that he'd come back every now and then disappear. And, at one point I noticed he came up and he had 2 drinks in his hand. And he was RDD, but, I didn't say anything about it. If you want to have a couple drinks or whatever, do what you want to do. So, he had, throughout the day, I didn't really see him much. I know that after Silky O'Sullivan's, we ended up going right across the street to Tin Roof. And we're all hanging out over there. I think
about what time do you think it was? Yeah.
That was probably about 4-ish, somewhere around there, 3:30, 4 o'clock probably. And we're all hanging out over there. Still no sign of Taylor. We're all dancing and stuff and listening to music, talking, met up with some more friends over there because there's a bunch of people down there we're running into. And,
so let me build the story to that part right there. I think that's a very relatable comment, a very normal moment. You go out with a group of folks. You're not anybody's parent. You're not a babysitter in general. You have a game plan. And by the way, that similar type story of what you're saying has happened to myself. I bet it's happened to other people. You have a group of folks, you try to do the right thing, you have a responsible thought process, and sometimes plans don't go as plans were set out to be. That's just life in general. But same kind of incident where you go downtown and you have an idea and you're like, hey, look, we'll do this. This person will be in charge of that, whatever it is. And to what you're saying too, if you have a couple early, you're going to be leaving later. Probably not thinking much of it. No big deal. But you can't control an individual, right? We're all adults. You're all grown people. So you're going to do what you're going to do. And in the end, what can you say about it? It's like, all right, well, that sucks. Whatever. So you decide after 4 hours of being there, you're going to go down to this other place, Silky's.
Oh, we went to Tin Roof.
Went to Tin Roof from Silky's. Go to Tin Roof and you're hanging out there. It's about 4 o'clock. What goes on at that point?
So, we're all hanging out and stuff. And I've probably been there for maybe about an hour. And I remember getting a glimpse of Taylor just walking by me kind of like towards the front door. And I hear him say, I'm leaving with some such and such. I'm not going to, drop any names. But he says, I'm leaving with so-and-so. So I'm like, wait a second. Like, you're supposed to be driving us.
Yeah.
So I just let him go. And I go find the rest of our group. They were like outside of Tin Roof. There's like this patio.
So that was the extent of the conversation in the moment. Was I'm just leaving and nothing else.
Yeah, that was it.
You're just like, all right.
Whatever. We'll figure it out, I guess.
So go talk to somebody about this,
So I went and found the rest of the group, and it was just 2 of us that had rode up there with them. And so I found them. I'm like, hey, Taylor just said that he's leaving, so we need to, figure something out. And then the person that he said he was leaving with was standing right there with the group that I went to talk to, and she was like, "No, we haven't had this conversation."
So she didn't know she was supposed to be going with him?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, to my knowledge, she said, no, I haven't heard anything about this. I'm like, okay, well, I'm just telling y'all what I heard,
Yeah.
So they're like, all right, well, let's, get together, let's leave. So we start walking out, and I believe my buddy Chase was with us, and he had texted or called Taylor. We're all trying to look for him. I think I called him probably 6 or 7 times. No answer. And so at this time, I was not mad, but I was a little disappointed. I was a little upset. I'm like, man, like, you told us you're going to be our driver, and now you're just gone. So
that's understandable. The frustration of the game plan being thrown apart. And at this point, is it fair to assume all of you guys had several beverages? Yep. Nobody needed to be driving anywhere. Would that be a fair statement? I wasn't with you guys, but I'm just saying, so that's normal.
I'd say none of us were just like out of our mind.
Sure,
just drunk. But we all, had a buzz. We'd been drinking.
And being an EMS yourself, I don't know, was any of your other friends firefighters?
No.
But obviously, the dangers that go with that.
Correct.
You feel like you're fine, and the next thing you know, you're in a car wreck.
Yep.
And you're like, wow, what just happened? So that's a great thought, though, is the fact that, I'm frustrated by this. I'm aggravated for a lot of reasons. And what was your next thought? So you can't change what's happened. So your next thought was?
So I sent him a text message, and I just said, you're a POS, not in a way to like, start anything. It's just like, dude, come on. Like, what are you doing? And put my phone in my pocket, didn't look at it again. Never felt it vibrate or anything like that, but later on towards the night I'll get to where I got into my phone and I saw where there was some, messages back. But so I just told the friend group, I guess I'll drive, but I need to go get something to eat because, I've been drinking, so I need to get some food on my stomach. And they're like, okay. So we tried to go to the arcade, and they turned us away. I think they were closed or something. So we're like, all right, went across the street to Little Italy. Go inside. Me, my buddy Chase, and his sister was with us. And we all ordered pizza, sat down. I think I'll get my pizza first. So I, started eating a little bit. And they were still waiting on theirs. Probably, I don't even think I got to finish my first slice. And I look over, and I just, out of the corner of my eye, I see Taylor standing there. And next thing I know, I'm slammed on the ground, and he's trying to punch me in the face. And
had anything like this ever happened before?
No.
So that's not a confrontation situation before?
Never. Me and him have never been in an argument, never had disagreement or anything. So, it was a surprise. I was shocked. I didn't know what was going on. And I think everybody in Little Italy was, they had the same reaction. They were like, what the heck's going on?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, because people could say boys will be boys. Look, I'll tell you, growing up, it was normal. This is not, I don't think, unique. I think this is normal. I would get in a fist fight with a friend when I was a kid.
Walking home from school.
And
it's like every day.
The next day, we're right back to being buddies.
Absolutely.
No big deal. Just forget about it. Let's move on.
I mean, that's just a guy thing.
That's a guy thing. That's 100% real. Something happens.
I mean,
maybe you never even had an argument before. Yeah. All of a sudden you're fighting. And then the next day it's like, forget about it.
Just in my friend group, I mean, that happens,
Sure.
I mean, the guys are just guys.
That's the testosterone that's unfortunate sometimes.
Yeah, and then right after, shaking hands, best friends again.
Let's let it go.
Yep.
Yeah, trust me. I can't go into details, but at the fire department, we usually handled disagreements with boxing gloves in the bay.
That's right.
And that was more than once in our life. And so it's because I'm not just commenting on that, but it's normal. That I'm not normalizing something that's not normal. That's a normal thing that guys will do. I'm not saying girls don't. I've seen a lot of TikToks recently. Apparently girls can throw just as good, but that's just something that happens. So he throws you down, and now you find yourself not just being attacked in a sense, but you're shocked.
Yes,
you're like, where is this coming from?
On my back, and he's on top of me trying to punch me in the face. Chase comes up behind him, pulls him off of me, takes him outside. I stand up, everybody's screaming at us, the owners or the guys that work there, y'all, get out, get out. So I just look at them like, hey, can I at least box my pizza up? Everybody's asking me like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Just want to box my pizza up. So get me a box. I walk out, and he's to my left, and he's still pretty aggravated, and they're trying to calm him down. But So at that moment, I see that he's still pretty upset, and I wasn't the happiest. I'd say I just got slammed on the ground. I'm in shock. I'm like, what the heck just happened? So he's saying some things to me. I can't remember exactly, but he's hooping and hollering. So I start mouthing back a little bit. That's when so Chase, or I can't remember exactly, Chase or Kelsey, which was Chase's sister, had him, and one of them had me, and they were trying to break it up, and just holding us back. And it felt like 10 minutes. It was probably a minute of that going on. And eventually, I think, so Chase had Taylor kind of pushed back, holding him back, and he got by Chase. And when he got by him, he's coming at me, and that's when I took my first swing at him. Mm-hmm. And I hit him. He fell. He got back up. I hit him again, and then we both kind of separated. And he came at me again, and at that time we both hit each other at the same time. And he laid a pretty good lick on me then, buckled my knees, and I fell to the ground, and he had fallen on top of me. At this moment, it's kind of a blur. Only reason that I know what happened is just from talking with Chase. But I remember laying there on my back as he was on top of me, and I'm just out of breath, just breathing super hard. And I remember thinking I could feel my eyes swelling shut, and I had blood dripping down my face. And I remember thinking, when we get up, he's going to whoop me because I can't see. And so this is a blur. I don't remember how he got off of me. Chase said that I had rolled him off of me, and I'd got up. And I remember walking around, and he never got up, and I thought he was laying on his back. Chase said he was on his stomach, and I had rolled him over. But I remember walking around him, and he wasn't moving. And I remember tapping him with my foot, saying like, "Hey, Taylor, get up. Come on, get up." And he didn't get up, so I'm thinking, all right, he's knocked out. So I get down. Chase said that I rolled him over, and as soon as the first thing I remember seeing is his face was blue instantly. And,
yeah, I know. It's tough.
I remember hearing his last breath, and being in EMS, that's one of those. It's one of those not good breaths.
It's like a gasp.
Yeah, and so sorry.
It's all right, man.
So I immediately knew something was wrong, and so I checked for a pulse, and I didn't feel anything. So immediately began CPR.
Yeah.
I'm doing mouth to mouth, and I remember there was a group of people to my left, or right when I started CPR, I looked at Chase, and I remember saying, "Call 911," but he already had a phone up to his ear, so he was already in the process of doing that. I'm guessing he saw him and was like, "This isn't good."
Yeah.
So I remember seeing a group of people to my right, and as I'm doing CPR, I'm screaming, "Somebody please help me. I'm gassed." I mean, I just got into altercation, I'm wore out. And so now I'm doing CPR mouth to mouth and hollering at these people, "Somebody please help me. Please, if anybody knows CPR, I need help." Nobody. A bunch of phones out recording.
Of course.
Yep.
Unfortunately, that's the society we live in.
Yep. I had one dude hollering at me, telling me how to do CPR. I looked at him, I said, "I'm a firefighter. I know how to do CPR, but if you'd like to help, please help. I need somebody over here." And then, so Chase's sister's a nurse. She ended up coming over there, and she did a few compressions, and she just looked at me and said, "I can't do it." I think with her knowing Taylor, she just couldn't do it. So I took back over. And still, hollering, "Somebody please help," as I'm doing compressions. Nobody. And, so I don't know who this woman was, where she was at the whole time, but some random lady, I couldn't even put
she was in front of you, you wouldn't know who it was, yeah.
But I just remember hearing to my right is I feel a pulse. So I check his pulse. I felt it faint. I'm like, okay, good. So I'm still doing mouth to mouth. And then the unit, or what we call it a unit, the ambulance pulls up, and just so happens it's Unit 12. Different shift, but I know
they know
the guys,
you, obviously, yeah.
And the unit I ride on every day.
Yeah.
And they pull up, and I just kind of stood up, let them take over. I just took a few steps back, and I'm just sitting there watching. Just what in the world just happened?
Yeah, and it happened in the blink of an eye.
Just like that.
Just in the blink of an eye. Look, Cameron, I want you to know, I feel you. I feel the emotion and the pain. And the reason why I wanted you to come on the show and share this is because I think that there's a lot to be learned here for people everywhere. It's so easy to get caught up in a moment. And it's so easy to be a Monday morning quarterback, as they say. Hindsight's always 20/20. The what ifs, I wish I would have's, they're all over the place. It happens all the time. One of the things that make us unique in the sense of firefighters, first responders, paramedics, police officers, is that we get exposed to enough things that we're able to anticipate. And when you can foresee the situation, usually you can either avoid it or head it off. But guess what? We're all human. Every single one of us. We're human. And we're all born with human emotion, human reaction. And that's why there's no judgment here from anybody. Should there be any judgment in the reality, I would say that it's perfectly understandable to defend yourself. In any situation, you should. Yeah. You should always be able to defend yourself. The flip to this is what you had shared with me, which is why I felt like this was appropriate. And that is, you had reached out to me asking about places to go speak to kids, because the lessons you've learned from this go much deeper. And it's a reality that not all of us experience. And that is, there can be ultimate, really big consequences to allowing yourself to give in to a situation. Look, that's why there's no judgment, because I don't know anyone that hasn't been there, including me.
Yep.
So many times that I reacted in a situation. And I know it was wrong when I look back on it, but I didn't have the same consequence. So it's almost forgettable. Yep. It can be forgettable. And unfortunately for you, this moment didn't turn into that. It didn't allow you to have a forgettable moment or just a story down the road.
Yeah, just, it's like we were talking about earlier, just one of those things you think that afterwards you're going to shake hands, and unfortunately it's just something I didn't get to do. Right.
So clearly in the moment when you're reacting to this, you're fighting back. The hindsight to you is walked away. You could have walked away. Yeah. I get that. That's what you would think. That's what you would feel. But if there is a human being out there that's ever been in an altercation that thinks that's what they would absolutely have done, I don't think they're being honest with themselves.
No.
That's my opinion.
I agree.
So and then you added the alcohol aspect. Mm-hmm. Let's be fair to that. Okay. There's nothing wrong with an adult having beverages, but also let's be fair to say that does cloud your judgment.
Absolutely.
And there's a whole bunch of social media out there that shows people with impaired judgment doing goofy things.
That's right.
Things they should never do that obviously could have detriment in the long run to themselves usually. In this moment, yeah, Cameron, it would be easy to beat yourself up over it. And I think that, the bigger lesson here is that this moment being shared to other people, maybe, hopefully, it'll give a person pause. Mm-hmm. I know it has me. Routinely going down the interstate, I will react to a person's bad driving in Memphis. Let's face it, there's some bad drivers. But what is it worth to me?
Yeah.
What if they react to that and then somebody's hurt or killed? Either I have to live with that forever or I'm gone.
Yep.
And it's not worth it. And we all know this, but yet we're human. And that's the part of us that's hard to get past.
Yeah.
So Cameron, going back to the moment when they're loading him into the back of the ambulance and leaving, can you even put into words what your emotions and thoughts are at that time?
Yeah. So, I remember them loading him in the back of the ambulance, and I kind of just stood back and watched. and they had the Lucas device on them, which does CPR for you, so you know. But I'm sitting there watching, and you know, with my experience with EMS, you know, I knew that the outcome was more than likely not going to be good.
Yeah.
And you know, I don't know how I felt. It's hard to explain. There's so many emotions going through my head. But I was scared.
Yeah.
I was sad, and I was mad. You know, why'd this happen to me?
And probably not even fully being able to understand what just took place.
Yeah.
You're eating pizza 1 minute, and now there's an ambulance pulling away with your friend, and they're doing CPR.
Yep.
How do you go from that to that within a matter of minutes? Your entire life completely flipped upside down.
Yep.
A lot of people involved whose lives will now be changed forever in a matter of 5 minutes, 10 minutes most. Who knows? Not a lot, short amount of time, and a full change of everything. So as they pull off, and I'm assuming this part of it's okay to talk about, so the police come.
Yeah, so police are there, and at this time, I'm still just standing there. You know, they have asked me a couple of questions, but not too much, you know, just kind of what happened, and I told them, still not in handcuffs, you know, but, you know, I'm just staying beside them, like, hey, if y'all have any questions, y'all need anything, just let me know. I'm, you know, trying to get this story right, let y'all know everything that happened. So I talked to them a little bit, but I think they were waiting on like a sergeant or somebody to show up. And so they got there, you know, they detained me, put me in handcuffs, and sat me in the back of the cop car. And at this time, I mean, man, big chiefs on the fire department were pulling up, and a lot of my friends, I remember looking over, and there's a group of people that weren't even there that night. The word had spread fast, and they had showed up.
Social media will do that.
Yes.
A couple Facebook posts, next thing you know, 10 million people seem to know.
Yep. So, yeah, a lot of people showed up, and, you know, some people came up to the door, were talking to me, and I remember asking, I can't remember who it was, but I asked somebody, I was like, you know, did he pass away? And they confirmed it. They said, yes, he passed away. And I lost it. I mean, I lost it. And I remember, I'm not going to drop names, but somebody else had come up to the door, and there's a guy that I look up to a lot, and a role model, and he looked at me and said, you got a long, long road ahead of you. You better get it together, son. And I said, yes, sir. And I dried my tears up and prepared myself.
Yeah. And how do you, right? So you prepared yourself, but knowing that you don't even know what to prepare for.
I was thinking the worst.
You just know it's going to be a tough road.
Yes.
At that point. And clearly, you know, there's an aspect here. Now, man, look, let's just be fair about this too. There's going to be who knows how many thousands and thousands of people that will see this, and there are going to be there's a percentage of people that are quick to judge. Look, I could tell a story of puppies, and I will get hate mail sometimes. That's normal, because when you're in the public eye, people got stuff they want to say, whatever. But here's what I will tell you. You know, when a moment happens like this, like you just described, the moment of shock overwhelms all the other emotions a lot of times. The disbelief of what is happening is actually reality. How do I know this? Because I was a firefighter paramedic for a long time. I can't tell you how many moments of consolement that I spoke to a person about a situation, and it was just hard for them to wrap their head around, this is real. Yeah. This is not a dream. I'm not waking up from this. So it's not even about self-preservation, but it is about the idea that you have to start to come to terms with, this did happen, and there has to be a path forward now. Yeah. Because you can't go backwards, unfortunately. That's the thing, that's the reality of life, is if you had a magic wand, Cameron, how fast would you shake that thing and go back in time?
Fast.
Fast. I mean, that's true. And how many of us watching this, yeah, that's what, you go back, you fix it, but you can't. So now you got to move forward. And you realize, look, this is not going to be a situation that's going to be easy to navigate. You don't even know where to start, I'm sure. And you understand that a person can make a mistake and not know that they're even making a mistake in the moment. And then are you supposed to be somebody that's got to now have this lifelong tragedy, disrail anything else that could happen next? So you have to start to consider, how do you take that moment and make something positive from it, because it's not an easy thing to do and you're not going to figure it out right away.
Yeah.
So you go to jail, and then I know you go back home, and at this point, I can only imagine the constant, playback in your head, trying to figure out how this happened, why this happened, the sadness, the grief. I mean, it's still your friend.
Yeah.
A moment doesn't change the fact that it's your friend. I will be honest with you. There's a bunch of guys that are my best friends, and we always, growing up, you never knew if we were going to get into an argument or a fight, but then we would just throw it away immediately.
Yeah.
And that probably would have been the same case here.
Absolutely.
Give it a day or two, and you're just like, man, I don't even know what we were thinking. That's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, so I actually got the opportunity to sit down with his family and talk to them. And that was one thing that was brought up. And I can't remember, I think it was his mom that said it. She said, I know that if Taylor was here today, he would be smiling and, y'all would be hugging it out, because that was just the kind of guy he was.
Yeah.
Always had a smile on his face. And I know that, immediately that he would have been, maybe the next day, but we would have hugged it out and we would have been, that was stupid, dude. What were we doing? Just another story in life.
Yep. And unfortunately, in the way this one came out, you didn't have that opportunity. So then obviously now you also have to consider that you've been working hard to be a paramedic firefighter. You've got a family, you've got a life, you're a young guy. And if you had it to do over again, there's no way you would have ever wanted this situation to take place. Are you thinking at this point, maybe there's no more forward for Cameron?
Yeah. There's brief moments where I had thought that, my life's over. Before this incident, I mean, I had everything good going for me at the moment. I was in paramedic school, I was making good grades, and, your job's not secured on the fire department until you have your paramedic license. So I'm thinking, I'm about to have job security. I'm good, man. And then this happened, and so I was thinking, I wanted to drop out of paramedic school. I was like, man, I can't do all this. It's stressful enough just being in paramedic school.
Of course it is.
And now I have this. And, I spoke to my chief and just more people that I look up to, and they all were just very encouraging. Just stick with it, man. Don't give up. You got to just stick with it. Keep your head on straight. And thankfully, I did that. There was actually a day that I did call my instructor, and I said, hey, I gave her a brief story. This is what happened, and I'm probably going to drop out. And she said, okay, well, call me back on Monday and we'll get that all figured out. And I didn't call her back, and I stuck with it, thankfully.
Yeah. That's, we talked about this at the beginning. It's not easy to get through paramedic school. And then you have this kind of life stress happen. Man, how do you stay focused, and how do you pass the test and move forward and even keep your head clear? Yeah. Because there's a lot going on. Look, for you in this moment, you've expressed and shared that you had great remorse for it. You have great grief for it. And you spoke briefly about you speaking to his family. Mm-hmm. How was that received? Or are you able to talk about that? Did they feel like that they had some answers? Did they have closure?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I know that, they showed this on the news, but I think it was my second court date. I was still in jail while I was going to court for like the first 3 court dates. I was in jail still. But I remember the second day, it was the first day for his family to be there. And, I think his brother was staring me down. They showed this on the news, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
If it was the other way around, my family would have acted the same way.
Sure.
And so at first, obviously they didn't like me. They weren't happy with me. And, they didn't even know who I was. I've never met Taylor's
really?
family.
Okay.
So, months and months down the road, I got the opportunity to speak with his family, and, they had some questions on, they wanted to know pretty much what we talked. Tell me what happened from the beginning to the end. And I told them, and
so they didn't know that y'all had lived together? They had to have known that.
No. So
really?
That was it was crazy.
Okay.
They both said Taylor never mentioned your name, we never even know who you were.
Wow.
Yeah, but he was 31 years old. So not many
couple years
30-year-olds go back to their family.
That's true.
talk about, just friends.
Yeah.
I mean, some friends that are super close. Me and Tyler were close, but we weren't just like,
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, we had talked. I had some questions, and I answered them the best that I could. And, surprisingly, they're very nice. They told me they're praying for me. And it really meant a lot because at that time, I mean, that's all I needed was some prayers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just hearing that from his family helped me a lot. I didn't get to go to his funeral, so I didn't get my closure.
Yeah.
And I know me and his mom had talked about, going to the grave together. We haven't done that yet, but hopefully when this is all over, because I'm still going through some stuff before it's all finalized, I'll get to do that with her. After our meeting, we all hugged, and it was good. It was very much needed.
Yeah, I'll hope that some of his family sees this, and what I would want to share with them is the young man that's sitting across from me has a heart of gold. You're a great guy. You're a great young man. And I've known you pretty much most all your life. I have no doubt whatsoever that every cell in your body would do anything to change the outcome of what is happening. And as we already have spoken about, unfortunately, we can't go back in time, so we could only move forward.
Yeah.
So what does that road forward look like for Cameron? What is it you hope to be able to give to others from this experience?
And I hope just, people can look at my situation, and if they're ever put in the same spot or the same situation that I was in, that they can, hopefully this will just cross their mind for a split second and, and just think, that could happen to me. So maybe I should think twice about before I make a decision like this. And it's going to be hard because you're going to be tested, and, your emotions are just all over the place when you're in a situation like that. You might not think about this.
Right.
But I hope, if somebody, especially in my friend group, anybody really close to me that really knows how I am and knows this situation, that they don't have to go through the same thing.
Yeah.
Or anybody, it's anybody can look back, see, the Facebook post or what the news post, and, say whatever they want about it. But nobody knows what you're going to do until you're in that situation.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just, I hope that people can hear this story and just react differently.
I think it will stick with plenty. I think folks will hear it and they'll think to themselves about moments that they were in. I know it's going to have that effect on me. I know that my wife has warned me many times whenever I have a big reaction to something. It's usually road rage in my situations, which, I'm not justifying it. There are people that drive like idiots and it makes you aggravated, but what is it worth the cost of if something happens? And it's not worth it. And that's the reality. So, we are moving close to the finish line here. And, big part of the story I think that we have been able to cover is how you could sometimes get caught up in a situation and the reaction and the outcome don't seem to match or make sense. This is not the situation that anyone would have even thought would have been possible. It, in a lot of ways, was a freak accident, to be quite honest with you. Situations like this, fights, arguments, take place every single day all across America. I think your situation is unique in that way because it doesn't usually end like that from a fist fight. And it doesn't make sense other than we have to find a way to move forward. That's why I hope that his family can find some peace in knowing that you're a good guy and you would have never wanted this in a million years. And I can vouch for that. So we've talked a lot about everything else. And now I guess we're at that point. What do you hope to do next as far as using this to advocate for avoiding violence? You're on a fire department. You're a paramedic. You see violence every day in the city of Memphis. Maybe there's a voice or a process you can go into. You mentioned something about speaking to youth groups. Yep. You want to talk a little bit about what you hope to share with them?
So just, I want to talk to hopefully, guys in their teens or girls too, and just to let them know that fighting is not what makes you a man. It doesn't make you tough. I grew up, thinking that,
Sure.
Walking home from school and, just who's a tougher guy? Let's fight it out. Just stuff like that. It was dumb. And that doesn't make you a man. Doesn't make you any tougher. It doesn't show how tough you are. Being a man is being able to walk away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to just tell yourself, control your emotions and just tell yourself, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to walk away. Because what do you get out of it?
That's it.
Like we said, after most of the time, you shake hands afterwards. What'd you get out of it? The black eye?
Yeah.
Busted lip, broke nose. You get nothing out of it. You're hurting. And
it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. Life is too short, and we're all here for just a very short amount of time. So doing the most good we can with what we have, I think that's the most important thing. Well, Cameron, I can't thank you enough for coming down. I know it's a tough story to tell. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for being able to face it. I think that's a big part of life as well. For a lot of us out there that face difficult situations, moments that we never saw coming, things we could have never imagined would fall into our path that we have to deal with. It's easy to run away from that. I think it's easy to hide from moments. And it could be a lot of things. It could be dealing with addiction. It could be a lot of obstacles that people face, and sometimes the best path for them is to act like it doesn't exist. But the only way we grow and the only way that we help others grow is if we're willing to be vulnerable and share. And I got to be honest with you, this is one of the bravest conversations I've had with an individual in all of my podcasts. There are plenty of podcasts out there that I've put together from folks that have dealt with addiction to folks that have been in prison. And in the end, this is a tough thing for a young person to have to face and deal with, because it's not just the outcome that turned out, but also the loss of a friend. Losing a friend anywhere is a tough thing for any person. And then the situation that surrounds this just makes it so much more difficult. But I know that you're going to do big things in this world. And I think you're going to make Taylor proud in the long run. Looking down, proud of his buddy. You're not letting it go away. You're not trying to avoid it. You're facing it head on. And that takes a lot of guts, man.
I appreciate it.
Is there anything you want to say as we wrap up?
Oh, man, just, listen to the podcast and just think about it.
That's it.
Just really think about it. Try to put yourself in my shoes the best you can, and think what you would do in that situation. And if you ever get put in that situation, try to turn away.
Try to avoid it. That's a great message. Cameron, I'm thankful for you. I'm proud of you. I love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Get out there. Make it happen.
Yes, sir.
All right. To my viewers, I want to thank you guys for tuning in each and every week. As you see, sometimes we tackle some difficult situations, but that's what this is all about. The motivation and inspiration comes from us being able to go forward and be able to share these delicate moments like this so that maybe someone else can benefit from it. I'm going to ask you now, go to my website, motivatewithcoachcamp.com, subscribe to my YouTube, and until next time, Coach Camp out.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up, it's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's